time for the last of our guests on the Southwest's first Queer Fringe Festival, launching in Exeter at the end of next week. It's called the Out There Festival, and they want it to become a national annual event, making Exeter a bit of a cultural hub. Today we can talk to comic Sam Lake, fresh from a successful run at the Edinburgh Fringe from Cornwall. Morning, Sam.
Good morning, John. How are you?
Very well. Nice to have you on with us this morning. Tell us a little bit about you, Sam, how you got into comedy.
Oh, well, if I'm going to tell you the honest answer this early in the morning, it was to spite an ex-boyfriend.
That is a good, honest answer.
Well, he told me that he thought he was funnier than me, so I went rather out of my way to prove him wrong.
I love that. How was it the first time?
With my ex-boyfriend or my first time on stage?
I was talking about stage, and you know that very well, Sam.
My first time on stage was really, really nice. I mean, I've had the misfortune of it was recorded, and me and the people I did it with watched the video back not that long ago, and I wish I hadn't, because in my head I thought I was incredible, and watching it back, I now realise, I've come a long way since then, and I'll just say that.
Where do you get most of your inspiration from? How would you sort of describe your stand-up?
I guess a lot of it comes from just my upbringing and personal life, so I'm quite personal on stage. I guess my comedic voice develops over time, so there's nuances of like loved ones, like my family members in my comedy, but then there's also the artists that influenced me when I grew up. So people like, I always say people like Victoria Wood or Bill Bailey or French and Saunders, people like that. They probably taught me like the rhythm of comedy and stand-up, and then at some point I learned how to start putting my own material together. Yeah,
Bill Bailey and Victoria Wood use music brilliantly, don't they, in their comedy?
Yes, and it's funny because like I'm completely tone deaf and I hate singing, but I love what they do with it, and even though they're bringing music into comedy, I still really appreciate everything that they do, and it just goes to show you can find humor and bring humor to people through so many different means. So I just think they're like real pioneers, I guess.
How has growing up sort of down here shaped your comedy? Do you get laughs out of coming from Cornwall, from the Southwest?
Oh, I absolutely do. Yes, and sorry to bring up the fact that I am Cornish on BBC Radio Devon. No, I heard the tone in your voice, John. No, I did. It was interesting, and it's kind of makes me so glad that now we're talking about something like Out There, this festival that's promoting, LGBTQIA plus artists and putting on like a few weeks of these incredible artists all doing different shows. Because when I was growing up down in the Southwest, we didn't really have that much. I mean, I'm not in my twilight years just yet, but when I was growing up there, being able to be out and proud wasn't something that was so easily done. And if there were more things like this festival, being able to see people be proud of who they are, that might have had a really profound impact on someone like me back then. So I'm glad that something like this is happening now, where people can just come and enjoy all of these different shows that are all queer-led, and there's something for everybody. It's a really powerful thing, I think.
Your show's called Daddy Dumb. What's the idea behind that?
Well, the show's actually called something else, but I haven't checked if I'm allowed to say what the show is really called.
Oh, probably best not then, if that's the case.
No, it's fine. This has happened before. You can go Google what my show was called, and then see why maybe we can't say it on
okay.
air. But yeah, no, my show is about a few things, but largely it's about, on the surface, my journey to becoming what we would call a daddy, as the kids would say.
Okay.
So not a biological father, but a certain cultural type of figure in today's society known as a daddy, and how I try and sometimes succeed and sometimes fail at doing that.
So is it a kind of a bit of a commentary on sort of masculinity and what it is to be a man?
Yeah, it is. And, it starts off sort of talking about, your classic, oh, you can't say that anymore kind of blokes. And then it becomes more a show about, as a man, what it's been like to form different types of relationships with other men. So all from my own perspective. And I'm talking about like friendships and relationships, romantic relationships, and also just interactions with men in different environments, and how they're all different, and how I've responded to them, and how masculinity plays a part in that. I can already hear people listening going like, oh, go on, a bit of a lefty wokey, but I promise it's actually quite funny, and there's some very silly bits in there as well.
You frolicked about Exeter many times.
Yes, I have.
And this will be a bit of fun. Wednesday, the 2nd of October at the Barnfield Theatre.
That's right, yes.
Sam, it's been great to chat to you.
Lovely to chat to you, and also to learn about clouds. That was interesting.
Break a leg.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, Sam. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
From the BBC